On the hottest day of the year so far, yesterday here in the East Midlands we hit 32 degrees centigrade, so somewhere in the low 90s, and today's forecast to be even hotter, so we'll see how it goes. But anyway, you saw that the gluing up of the initial stage of the frame went well, and welcome back to one of the long-time viewers, Gary. I've missed our conversations in the chat, Gary, but it's lovely to have you back, and hope you enjoying progress so far. So my thought was being able to have a dry run to see how things actually went together, manoeuvring things. Well, gluing these pieces together last time, I've been thinking it won't be such a complicated thing after all, and I only actually need to fit the bottom shelf as I'm gluing everything together, because the middle shelf will just slot in from the top with nothing to impede it. So that's a good point. The only concern that I have is the miscut mortises from a few episodes ago, and those are now too long to cope with the not wide tenons. So I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do this. It might be a case of fill some of it with paper towel and then finish it off when everything's dry with resin. So that's the way I'm thinking today, and I'm feeling confident enough to just go ahead and do the glue up. But of course, one thing after last time I need to just tidy up on are the glue marks on these panels, and just make sure that everything is smooth and flat. So that's the first job. Then we'll come to the glue up. They've gone together nicely. I just want to get rid of some of these tiny lips. Just along that edge there. Now just quickly run the sander over those, just to take out some of the scuff marks. Now, I know what I said about perhaps filling that mortise. To be honest, I don't think I need it. Let me just show you why I'm thinking like that. So that's going to go like that, and yes, there is going to be a gap, but it's not going to be that much. And I think if I flood the mortise, it should be enough. The big test, of course, will be when I put it on the wall. But anyway, let me put, so the order of business, put that one in, put that one in, and slot that in. Now, I'm not going to glue those, I'm going to make them loose tenons, because they're not going anywhere. With that and that in place, it's not going to move. So, okay, here's the big test. And just make sure that's the bottom, because it's the wide rail. So that's the bottom, because that's the shelf support. That's on the inside, so it has to be that way. Now those have gone in nicely. A little bit of seepage there, of course. I know I'm flooding this, but until my joints are better constructed, it's better the devil I know, if you'll excuse the expression. Right, and that will hold the vast majority of the glue in. Oh, I'm glad about that. Right, so that's the shelf. That is the left side of the cupboard, and I had marked that as the right end of the shelf. So let me just, before anything happens, oops, that sounded like wood splitting. That is the corner piece splitting there, and that felt like the tenon splitting. Okay, so I better just double check the width. Make sure everything is square so I know where I'm gluing. Yes. That's there. So that width is 290. I just want to double check. 290. It's not a lot in it, it's 292. But that's enough to split it. That's not going to go anywhere. So let me just take that down by 2 mil. Will it? Oh, it will. Oh, that's good. I wasn't expecting that. Because otherwise these won't go together properly. That is looking good. Well, these two straps I must say they don't get much use because I've never had boxes this big that has warranted them. But they'll just provide some rigidity to everything while I check for square. So let me then it's tighten that, lock that off and then tighten. But of course I've got to be careful with the strap. You can get a lot of pressure that can distort things. that's got them roughly tightened. Let me just take a break. Right, so that seems tight enough. The bottom is a bit tighter than the top, but we'll see how it goes. So again, just get some of the seepage of glue mopped up. Right, let's check for square. It should be alright. But this, of course, is a difficulty. Because the corner posts are stopping the blade going against that top rail. Same there. It looks square, but how did my neighbour Tim suggest I do it? It was check corner to corner, wasn't it? Let me get the big rule. So of course that is not big enough. So corner to corner, that's 1050. One 1052. Two millimeters. It's almost square. Let's have a look here. For this I'll need to turn it over, I think. Seepage hasn't been too bad actually. I'm very pleased with that. One 1052, 1050. I'm not going to complain at that. I'll see how it goes later. But, oh, that went a lot better than I thought it would. Right, let me tidy up. So that's gone pretty well. I'm chuffed with the way that that's gone together, and I'm going to leave those setting, and then I can just tidy up with the sander just to get rid of some of the glue marks. I will double check sizes for the shelves so that I can just make minor adjustments. I can probably foresee I'm going to need to adjust the width of the shelves, and but yes, I'm pleased with that, and it will give me an opportunity as well of just double checking how I'm going to be fitting the doors. My initial concept was to have them on the outside, but I've got to decide what sort of hinges I'm having, and so we'll see what happens. But yeah, let me carry on tidying up, and then we can carry on with the next cupboard. And what for you might seem just a couple of seconds, for me it's the next afternoon, and I've had this gluing up all day. And as I was fitting it together, I was thinking, yeah, everything's square. I was struggling to try and get that square, which is why I was using the rule for as a winding stick really. But the one squareness I never thought to check was that one. And as it happens, it's almost perfect. That one's out by about 1 millimetre along with that one, but I'm not going to complain at that. That square, obviously, from when I fitted them, again, about 1 millimetre there, but I'm not going to worry about that. The straps worked nicely, so let me undo this. Then while I'm here, before I move on to the next cupboard, I'm just going to check for the doors. As originally conceived, they were always meant to display quite a lot of that edge of the corner piece and roughly down the middle here. So, and obviously that's going to be up there slightly, but it's just to give me some idea of how much gap there that I have for the hinge. So what sort of hinge I'm going to have, because what I want is something fairly ornate, but because it's going to be on the outside, and where's the rule? This gap is about 20mm. That's fine. And if I position this as about 20, yeah, that's that. So what I need to do is make a note for the hinges. Hinge is 20mm width, and really I need something about 50 long. Now 20mm that way means I can't do more than 18 that way, so it needs to be 18mm because both sides are going to be equal, aren't they? Right, so that's that. And then the handles, I'd conceived them as D handles, but down here, and they need to be about 100mm. Right, that's that. And the French cleat, that's going to go like that, so it's going, as it, the weight of the cabinet forces its way down, it's going to force it into the wall. So at least I've got that bit right. Okay, one other thing I want to do just before I move on to the next cabinet is just double check the size for all of the shelves. Now I've got those all fixed. I know there's a tidying up to do, like sanding out the glue marks, and just here there is a lip at both ends. The bottom of the corner pieces I need to take off so it's parallel with the bottom of the rail, and that's on all four corners. So the top rail just needs maybe 0.5 millimeter shaving off on that side, but because that's at the back at the top, it's not going to be too noticeable. So things right, so the actual width is, for the bottom shelf of cupboard 1, I'm going to put 4 dimensions on here, I think. So right, left, back and front, and the right is 290, the left is 290, and I'm just going to move this rule around, I think. So that point there is 600. $900, 96, 961, and the same here. 600. (361) 961. Right. Same procedure here. £290. Oops. Well, that's 270 in between the corners. So long as it goes around the corners, I think I'm fine. So, oh, and let's put the middle in there. £292. £267. £268. And for this one, because I can't mark it here, let's go for 49 to that, 490 to there. £490 and 485. £490, £485. And that's 975. And 485. Four seven two. 972. And sorry about that, there's a pigeon that insists on trying to land on our small bird table. Right, the top. And for that I need a chair or something. Do things properly and stand on a proper set of steps. Right, so this is going to be the full width. And that's 310. .310. That's 600. £985. And 600. £985. I think those are all the measurements I need from that. So I will just move those out of the way. And so, excuse me while I just have a slurp. We do have a little shower here today now, but incredibly humid, so. But anyway, ultimate width, this is the bottom shelf, and that needs to be 290. Yes. And the left hand side, not quite. So mark that off. And scribe the line. Right, so I am assuming that edge is the square one. Have I done right? Now that's definitely out, so that's the square one. So £290 from this edge. Is there. Scribe that line. Okay. So those are the two 290s. Both lengths need to be 961. So if this is the square, I really need to go well, that's square. That's where it's gone wrong. So, 961. Call it 960. 959, that'll do. So I just need to take it down to that line, ignore that one. Right, do the other two. I only have a tiny piece here to cut off, and then just that tiny sliver to plane down there, and then the cupboard one shelves are the correct size. Let me do that, and then I'll see you when it comes to assembling the second cupboard. Carcass number 2, and this should go much better than yesterday. So, square, and check this one. So, that's nearly there. Those are within my toleration. Yeah, I'm happy with that one. The only thing I noticed I've done is positioned these two uprights incorrectly, so that is actually slanted across, but it's not going to make any aesthetic, well, no, it will make an aesthetic difference, but it won't make a functional difference. So everything's gluing up. I'm pleased with that, and I'll leave that till next time. Well, that's as far as I'm going for today. Well, this weekend, I've been fortunate that I've had the time now to have 2 afternoons this week in the workshop, and I'm really pleased with the way that things have gone. It's still sticky out, but we'll see what happens with the rain. But anyway, things all ready now for me to just double check the size of the shelves for the second cupboard, and then I can start giving everything a final sand before I apply the satin varnish. No, it isn't polyurethane, is it? It's acrylic finish. So plenty of time yet for me to get the hinges and the handles, and we'll see how we get on next time. So thanks for coming along with me, and thanks for your support in the comments. If you've got any comments on what you've seen in this episode, then please let me know. I'm always so glad to hear from you, and I'll see you next time.